welcome to Women in 10. I'm Shonna Dorsey here with my co-host,
Jenae Lynn.
Sorry, my bangs were being weird. Okay.
I love it. And we are joined today with Ashley Kruse.
Hi.
Yeah,
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So those who haven't listened or watched this before, it's 10 minutes max. We don't edit or anything like that. We will just have a conversation, see where it takes us. Last minute, pull a card. We'll see what that's all about. But yeah, it's just 10 minutes.
All
Pretty
right.
easy. Cool.
Love it.
So here for this.
Yeah,
exactly. Ashley, we're
So
super
great.
thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
Tell us what are you all about? What do you
Yeah.
do? What are you up to? What are you passionate about?
Yeah. So my name's Ashley Kruse. I'm an entrepreneur here in Omaha, and I am a business coach, but more importantly, I help women handle and deal with their emotions as entrepreneurs. I really, truly believe that a strategy is only as good as its nervous system and the nervous system that it's built on. And so a lot of what I teach my clients is really how to get a handle on their nervous system, especially in high stressful situations like entrepreneurship. So I'm really passionate about that. I've gone through my own healing journey, and that's kind of what brought this into my business. So
That's fascinating. So for a couple of things, name of your business, and then tell us more about this nervous system work.
yeah, so my business is actually going through a rebrand currently. I was embracing the uncertain, which was totally perfect for that time. We've now kind of transitioned into Business Baddie, which is all about owning your authenticity. It's all about bringing your own brand and like who you really stand for as a woman into your own business. And a lot of that is sometimes challenging when you are so worried about being visible, when you're worried about what other people think of you, when you're really challenged with who you are as a person. And I mean, for me personally, that was really obvious when I left my corporate job. I was like, oh my gosh, my entire identity was wrapped up in what I did in the corporate setting. So I kind of went on that journey, and that's kind of where nervous system work started for me. And it was so life-changing for me that I was like, okay, I have to learn how to teach this. So
Wow.
that's where we're at.
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's interesting, the dichotomy of like not feeling enough, and then also at the same time feeling like you're too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see where that comes up in entrepreneurship in a lot of places. But one that popped for me right away was like pricing and working through like, am I worthy of charging this amount? Like, will people think it's okay? And all of those questions. What are some other questions that people bring to you?
Yeah. What will people think of me stepping into something that maybe they haven't seen before? So for example, as a coach, when I stepped into coaching, it was a little bit newer. Like there was a thing, but like that is something like, or what is my family going to think? If I show myself differently online than how I've been perceived in person, or how do I separate from the brand that I created in my previous life or job into something that might be a little bit more like, not risque, but a little bit more like, I don't know, not socially acceptable, I guess. Like for me, for example, I use a lot of curse words in my branding, and like sometimes I've worried about like how that looks to other people who might not have experienced me in my journey. So things like that. Gosh, even just like how to market yourself in a way that feels authentic to you versus like what everyone says you should do.
Yeah.
So having Jenae and I have both started businesses in the past or been part of a co-founding team as I was. I do remember too, and early in my entrepreneurship journey that I was super insecure. I'm like, I should be here, but why am I here? All of the different, what do you call it? Like terms, or I don't know, the imposter syndrome, all the things.
Totally.
So, but over time, have navigated my way through it, like stumbled through most of it. No coaching, not a lot of coaching, I should say, by women like you who have done this before. Where do you think, like, as far as like young women entrepreneurs, so their first time out, maybe not as much career experience, what are some things what kind of advice, I guess, would you give them? This is a weird, long question. I finally got where I was going. But anyway, there we go.
Honestly, I think you just have to get in and like get your hands dirty. And my biggest thing was like, don't be afraid of failure because it's going to teach you so much. And in general, failure can feel really challenging for the nervous system. And that's why, doing things like meditating, breath work, learning how to hold yourself in stressful situations where you might feel a little bit overwhelmed. Like even for me, stepping into this podcast studio, I was like, oh, wow, this is really cool and kind of like overwhelming at first. But like even just learning how to stay in your body instead of being up here can make such a difference. And we all know what that yoga bliss feels like. And so it's like finding things like that that can bring you into your body and help you stay present when maybe you're in overwhelming or situations where you might be struggling with imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about like a success story that you have or someone that you've worked with that's really gone through something. Would love to hear an example.
Yeah. Gosh, there's so many. I think like I definitely I tend to serve women in particular who are single moms or they've kind of desired to start their own business, but they've been challenged with having children or like a divorce or a separation of some kind. And they've lost themselves in their marriages or whatever the case might be. And so them stepping out of that and really just taking time for themselves and like putting their creative flow into their business in the way that they can actually do it and that's sustainable has been so cool. I've got web designers, I've got copywriters, I've got women who literally are leaving corporate and becoming coaches, right? So it's a multitude of those things. And it's really interesting when you watch women step into their power, how much more money they make, how much more autonomy they have over their lives. And then things like, oh, what's my ex going to think of me? Or what is this person going to think of me is kind of irrelevant because they're like, whatever, like I'm living my life. So it's pretty cool. And that's probably my common thread through most of my clients.
Absolutely. Cool.
It has to be super rewarding too, just to see, to empower people, you know, so that is one of my favorite things. It's not transactional, it's life-changing. So that is very cool. Yeah.
That's why I do it. I mean, I came from that life. I know what it's like to just grow up with like a single mom and, you know, you don't get to see a lot of opportunity in some situations like that. And so to be part of that change where we just decide what's possible for us and we go after it is really, really fulfilling.
Mm-hmm. One additional thought is what's really cool about it too, especially for single moms, also from a single parent household, that when kids see their moms winning in life, it is very life-changing for them versus continuing to watch them struggle and not be able to, you know, or make ends meet, but it's just a constant struggle, you know, so.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, that's like generational healing, right?
Yeah,
like, and that's the coolest part about all of this is we're breaking patterns that have been part of our genetics for years and years and years. And it's an incredible experience. And it sometimes you don't even think about it until you zoom out a little bit and you're like, wow.
Definitely.
Holy moly.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So rebrand.
Yes.
What was one of the indications that you knew that it was time to make a rebrand?
Yeah. I mean, my first iteration of my business was embracing the uncertain. And I was like, yeah, okay, I've done that. I'm ready to like own it and I'm ready to be more visible and I'm ready to like maybe step into more of like who I really feel like I am. And that's when Business Baddie was born, is like a culmination of so much intention and so much like sensuality and knowing who I am as a woman. And that was just so fun to bring to life. And like, I think it was born even more through like doing a branding photo shoot and like really sitting down with a web designer and like, what is this going to look like? And ever since then, it's just been an incredible like ride. And it's like just barely beginning. That's kind of the wild part about it all.
That is so fun. Yeah. And you left corporate when? I know we're at our last, that's the last question, I promise. Yeah. Like how long ago did you leave your corporate gig?
I think it was 4 or 5 years ago now.
Good for you.
It's been a while. And it was an incredible experience. Yep. And I'm so glad I did it. And I'm so glad I'm here.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank
Love
you.
to see women doing their business thing.
Thank you.
So great. Okay.
All right.
Ready.
Pick a random question.
Okay. I like to pick from the middle.
Perfect.
Okay. What's something quirky about me that you particularly like? That seems like a...
About... These are dating cards. It's so funny. So you have to ask it like, what's something quirky about myself that I really like? Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's something quirky about? I'm just like a goofy person. I'm very, there's no formality with me usually. This is probably the most formal I've been in. As you can see, I'm wearing Birkenstocks to a podcast recording. So
That's great.
I love this.
The polish is all good. I love all of it. It's so great.
Absolutely.
Well, we're out of time. We did it. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.